Hi, have you ever felt pinching pain in the front of your hip? If you have, this video's for you. I'm Dwayne, and this is Elisa, and we're with Valley Rehab Physical Therapy, and we're going to talk to you about hip impingement. So there are multiple different types of hip impingement. To keep things simple, we're just going to put it into anatomical hip impingement and then functional hip impingement. So anatomical hip impingement is when there is a bony structure change. There are different types, but we'll brush on that a little bit later. Today we're going to talk about functional hip impingement. So functional hip impingement is when there's an imbalance in the musculature of our hip, and the hip then folds and closes on itself, creating a pinching sensation, which is either going to pinch the capsule or labrum of the hip, which is cartilage rim around the edge. Common aggravating factors of functional hip impingement are going to be things that close down the hip. So stairs, going up and down the stairs when we're lifting the leg, bending over to pick something up, or even squatting type mechanics where our hips close. Some people also do get them with the sitting position, where if they sit for too long of a period as they're sitting, that creates more compression within that hip joint over a period of time. Now we're going to talk about some simple exercises that you can do to help with that compression in the hip joint that's causing your hip impingement. The first exercise is a banded hip mobilization. So we're going to need a couple of things. One is going to be a band. Here, it's a relatively thick band. You can find it at a sporting goods store or online. We're going to need to anchor it in either a doorway, on a squat rack, or in something that can hold it in place that's not going to slide around, because we're going to put some tension on the band. And something here like this foam pad just to support the knee so you're not directly kneeling on the floor on it. So we're going to start by sliding the one loop band that's open, that's not anchored, deep into the hip crease. That way she can use that band to pull. And the anchor point of that band is going to be slightly below the hip when she's kneeling. Okay, that's important to get the proper angle pull. So she's going to face perpendicular to the band. So as she's kneeling here, the band's not pulling behind her and the band's not pulling in front of her. It's pulling directly to the side. Now, what she's going to do here, she's going to scoot away from the anchor point and put slight tension on the band so she can feel a little bit of a pull from the band there. And she's going to start with her hand on her leg here, and she's going to bend her trunk forward, and she's going to feel a light stretch in the hip there. She's only going to go as far as she can without feeling an intense stretch or the pinching pain. Okay? The beginning phase is here, where we're dropping down, we're holding for a couple of seconds, and then coming back up. She's noticed how her chest is only reaching her knee area, and then she's coming back up. If this is comfortable and you don't feel a stretch, the next step is to then bring the hands and try to reach the hands to the floor here. Again, only if that's comfortable and there isn't a pinch, and if the first step doesn't feel a stretch. Okay, she's going to hang out for a couple seconds, then she's going to come all the way back up. The most advanced phase here is you're starting all the way down with the hands on the floor. You're going to reach your hands a little bit further out, and then you're going to try and bend the elbows. Again, this is the most advanced phase. That's only if you don't feel any stretch with the first two exercises. We're going to do this for about 15 to 20 repetitions, nice and slow, a couple of times a day. The next exercise is a groin stretch. So the easiest way to do this is standing here, and then we're going to widen our stance here. Elisa's going to demonstrate for us. So she's going to take a wide stance here, and she's going to shift her weight to one side away from the affected hip. So she should be feeling a stretch in the groin region there. And she's going to hold this for 30 to 60 seconds and then return to standing. Okay, so again, we're only going as far to feel a light to medium stretch. We're going to hold for 30 to 60 seconds and then return up. If you can't tolerate 30 to 60 seconds, it's okay. Shorten the period and then accumulate up to that minute period. If that is too easy and just doing a standard lean to one side doesn't feel a stretch, then we're gonna do a little more intense stretch here. Elisa's gonna get in the kneeling position. And again, the leg that's out to the side, is the affected limb, So she's here, and then she's actually gonna shift her weight all the way back here and try to get her butt to her heel here. And that's gonna be a little bit deeper of a stretch in that groin region there. Again, 30 to 60 seconds. If you can't tolerate that, then we're gonna do repetitions. This next exercise is the banded bridge. So we're gonna start with a band here. She's gonna put it around her knees just like so. And we're noting that there's tension on this band, so she's pulling her knees apart and not just letting her knees rest together. Okay, so she's gonna start with tension on the band. Her feet are about hip width apart. She's gonna push her knees apart like she's doing here. What she's gonna do, she's gonna squeeze her butt muscles or her glutes, and then she's gonna lift her butt up. It's important that we're not getting any pinching with this exercise or any discomfort in that hip area where we're getting that hip impingement, okay? So she's gonna come up, she's gonna pause for a few seconds, then she's gonna slowly come back down. Notice she's not arching her back here where she's getting a lot of the lifting coming from her back here. She's using her hip muscles to lift up and open up. Also notice how she's not overextending and elevating too much to the point where she's overexerting her hips. So again, we're gonna do this for 10 repetitions. She's gonna hold that for a few seconds at the top and slowly control back down.
Thanks for watching our video on functional hip impingement. We hope you find it helpful. If you've been enjoying our videos, please like, subscribe, and share, and click the little bell button when you go to subscribe as well to get updates for future videos.